Chapter 9, of course, is Israel's past. Chapter 10, of course, is Israel's present, where we are. And when you get to chapter 11, of course, the future restoration of Israel, he speaks of the future. So where we are here is in Romans 10, verses 14 through 15, is very simply, it's the steps for securing justification. And so understand that Paul is not asking random questions. He's not like, hey, let me just throw out some questions to you. Because after he says in verse 13, whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved, then he asks this question, how then shall they call on him whom they've not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they've not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? You understand? He's not asking random questions. What this is literally is a divine order. There are 5 steps which bring us to justification. And so when you take a look at those steps, you have to actually go backwards in order to get to the backwards, because verse 13 says, "What whoever calls on him will be saved." That's justification. But then how do you get to that point? Well, before that, then you have to, how shall they call on him? That has to be a part. Whom they've not believed, how they should believe in him. That's the next part. Whom they've not heard, how shall they hear? That's the next part. Unless they have a preacher, and how can you have a preacher unless they're sent? You understand what begins to happen. The first thing, if you take a look at the end of verse 15, and how shall they preach unless they are sent? The first thing that God does is there's a sending. There's a sending. The second thing there is, if you take a look just above that, how shall they preach unless they're sent? The first thing is a sending. Then there's a preaching. After the preaching, in verse 15, it says this, how shall they hear without a preacher? You understand? There's a hearing.